Okay, I think we'll get started. If you're coming from the GNL project, I encourage you to look at the introductory video for this playlist to see if this is the right course for you. We're going to pick up here now with the connection between force and field, and we've talked about this a bit. We've talked about the fact that if we have an electric field and we place a test particle in, the test particle will move according to that electric field, and to move it has to be experiencing a force, and that force on that test particle will be in the same direction as the field, presuming the test particle is a positive charge, which it usually is for a test particle. Well, this is true even for a real particle. So if we have a field and we place a particle with charge q in that field, then the force will be the field times the charge, and the direction will be just depending on whether this is a positive charge, then the force will be in the same direction as the field. If it's a negative charge, then the force will be in the opposite direction of the field. So let's look at an example. Let's say we have a field that is, so a uniform field of 10,000 newtons per coulomb. So maybe we set this up with a parallel plate capacitor, or we're sufficiently close to a charged surface. And we have a particle with 1 times 10 to the minus 9 coulombs here of charge. So positive charge. So that means it's going to experience a force in this direction. So let's figure out the magnitude of that force. It's going to be 1.9, or 1 times 10 to the minus 9 times 10,000, or 1 times 10 to the minus 5 newtons. Let's look at another example. Let's try to suspend a mass, a 1 gram mass, in the middle of a parallel plate capacitor. So we're going to set this in there, and we don't want it to fall because of gravity, and we don't want it to rise up here because of the charge. So we have a negative charge. It's going to be repelled from the bottom and attracted to the top. So the electrostatic force wants to point up, and the gravitational force points down. If we are in equilibrium, then we have no net force, so our free body diagram can be drawn this way, so that the electrostatic force exactly counters the weight force. Well, the weight force is going to be 1 gram, here it is in kilograms, times 9.8, so 9.8 times 10 to the minus 3 newtons. The electrostatic force is going to be the charge times the field, and that's what we're trying to figure out. What do we have to dial this field up to so that we can suspend this mass like we want to? So we set these equal to each other. So we get 1 times 10 to the minus 7, because it's 100 nanocoulombs. E equals, and notice I'm not using the minus here because we're comparing the magnitudes. We already have the direction. We know this is going to go up, and the weight force is going to go down. So we get, and this is equal then to the weight force. So I solve for E, and we get 98,000 newtons per coulomb. This is it's a large field. It's not an enormous electric field. In fact, I'll jump a little bit ahead here, but the field due to a proton is that the electron experiences in hydrogen is 10 to the 11th. So we typically will see numbers like this. It feels a little big, but that's not too big. Okay, well, that's force. So we can easily start to talk about torque then. If we have a rotational system, a system that would want to rotate, then we need to talk about torque. So let's imagine 2 charges stuck together with a stick here, and they're placed in a electric field. Well, what's this going to want to do? The positive charges want to go up, the negative charge wants to go down. So this is definitely not in equilibrium, not in a rotational equilibrium. Ultimately, it wants to end up like this. Right? It's not going to move, the whole thing's not going to move up or down because we have equal charges here, but it's just going to rotate. And so we can talk about the torque. This is going to want to experience a torque in this direction, the clockwise direction, and this is going to want to experience a torque in the clockwise direction. So they're not fighting each other, they're complementing each other, and they're going to be equal to each other as well. Okay, well, how do we find the force? Well, sorry, the torque. Torque is going to be this from the from the center to here, so that's d over 2. So that's this arm, the lever arm, times the, so the lever arm from the pivot point, so times the force, and then again, d over 2 times the force on the negative charge. If these were different charges, the forces would be different, of course, and we'd have an overall net movement of this. But if they're the same, then they're going to be equal and in the same direction. Forces are in opposite direction, but the torque is in the same direction. It's working together. Okay, well, let's put an example to this. Let's say these are 75 picocoulombs. One's positive, one's negative. Oops, yep, it's negative, sorry. And we have an electric field of 15,000 newtons per coulomb and a distance of 2 micrometers. Well, the torque total is going to be the torque of each of these, but they're going to be equal to each other and cooperating. So that's going to be 2 times the torque of one of them. So we can just take 2 times torque positive in the clockwise direction. I want to spin this way. So that's going to be 2 times d over 2. So d is this now in meters, and 2's will cancel. Then the 75 picocoulombs right here, and the 15,000 newtons per coulomb field. Right, so that will be the total torque here. Torque will have units of newtons times meters. All right, and let's just finish now with asking the question about hydrogen. So hydrogen, of course, is made up of a proton and an electron. And the question might be, do we have to worry at all about the gravitational attraction between the electron and the neutron and the proton? Is that important at all? So let's actually put some numbers in. We won't go all the way to I'll give you some numbers, but we'll do a little bit of calculation here. So the force due to gravity, we've already worked out. So this is, or we haven't worked out, but we can work this out from Newton's law of gravity. So that's saying that the force here is going to be gm1, which is mass of a proton, mass of an electron, over the radius of hydrogen squared. Okay, so if we would plug in the numbers for those, look up those numbers, plug them in, we would get a gravitational force of 10 to the minus 47 newtons. The electric field from the proton, and this would be just calculated as a point charge with the one fundamental charge. So that calculation worked out. You get 5.14 times 10 to the 11th newtons per coulomb, and then the electrostatic force is just going to be the charge times the field. And so we get 8.2 times 10 to the 8th newtons there. So the question is that what is the relative importance of each of these? So if we take the ratio of this, we get 8.2 over 8, or times 10 to the minus 8 over 3.65 times 10 to the minus 47, or 2.2 times 10 to the 39. So the electrostatic force is overwhelmingly more important, and we absolutely do not need to worry about gravitational effects in hydrogen.